Happy morning, children. I feel extremely glad to welcome you all for our online learning. We will be discussing Biobotany Volume 2 for 11th standard. So 11th standard Botany Volume 2 will be discussing today. So in Volume 2 you have got yet another 7 lessons. So in these 7 lessons we have completed chapter 9 and now we'll be moving on to our 10th lesson, that is chapter 10, secondary growth. So in our today's link we'll be looking into chapter 10, secondary growth. I want all of you to actively take part in this online learning through the link. And if at all you have any doubts, you can just clarify to me in our group. And this lesson has got beautiful topics, very interesting topics which you will really enjoy learning. And this chapter 10, unit 4, plant anatomy, structural organization, topic secondary growth. The main objective is to analyze the primary and secondary growth, discuss the increase in length and width of the plant, explain the secondary growth in dicot stem, understand the use of wood, that's very important. Commercially, how does this wood value, and secondary growth in dicot roots, difference between dicots and monocots, and seasoning of grains, very important topic. How do we protect our grains? Okay. Seasoning the wood, how do we take care of the wood, the texture? So that is a very important topic. So main outline is about the secondary growth in dicot stem and in the dicot root. Now before proceeding into the lesson, we should know what is secondary growth. To know what is secondary growth, we should know what is a growth. Okay, when do we consider a plant is undergoing a growth? When they increase in size and weight. Okay, weight, size, length, all these things we can take. So increase is called growth. So increasing is called the growth. So what is a secondary growth? We should know what is a secondary growth. So to know it, we must understand some of the internal characters of the plant. So before moving in, let us come to the vascular bundles which we have learned in the last class. So this is a vascular bundle. You got the phloem and the xylem. This vascular bundle is of two types. One is called the closed, the other one is open. We call the vascular bundle open when the cambium is present between xylem and phloem. So when cambium is present, the vascular bundle is open. This is what we learned in last class. In this class, what is the activity of this cambium? What does the cambium do? This cambium helps in secondary growth. This growth is taken by the cambium. This cambium is of two types which we will discuss. One is called the vascular cambium. The other cambium is called the cork cambium. So I told you cambium is responsible for secondary growth. This cambium is of two types. One is called vascular cambium. The other one is called the cork cambium. Is it clear, children? Now let's know where do we get this cambium, how it is formed. In the beginning we have studied there is a meristematic tissue. Do you remember those terms which we learned in our last lesson? Meristematic tissues. So these meristematic tissues are in continuous state of cell division. They undergo very much of cell division. They keep on cell dividing their cells, which we call it as meristematic tissue. So just opposite to it is called the permanent permanent tissue. These permanent tissue are they which stopped the cell division. They don't have the cell division, which is called the permanent tissue. So meristematic tissue are in continuous state of cell division. Let's go to the meristems now. This is in last lesson. You got the meristem here. This is a meristem. Okay. The meristems are in three types. One is apical meristem. The other one is intercalary meristem. And this is a lateral meristem. Okay. So apical meristem is that which presents on the top. The tip region is apical meristem. And this lateral is in between. You can see in between the nodal region you can find the lateral. And this intercalary you can find, this is in the nodal and this is in between the nodal region. So these are the three types of meristematic region. You can find the answer. Apical meristem present in the apex of root and shoot. It is responsible for increase in the length of the plant. Okay. So apical meristem, they help in increasing the length. நீளமாக வளர்வது. Intercalary occurs between the mature tissue. It is responsible for elongation of internode. So this is a node region and this is another node region. So this distance is increased. The internodal distance is increased by the intercalary meristem. The third one is lateral meristem. Occurs along the longitudinal axis of the stem and root. It is responsible for the secondary tissue and thickening of the stem. And example is vascular cambium and carp cambium. So from where do we get this cambium? The cambiums are from the meristematic tissues. The cells which are undergoing continuous cell division. Which type of meristematic? Lateral meristem. So this is from where we get our cambium. So cambiums are formed from the lateral meristem, and this lateral meristems are used for thickening of the stem, and example is our vascular cambium and the carp cambium. Is it clear, children? So with that we are going to discuss about the cambial ring, types of cambium, activities of cambium, and because of the cambium we learned it is going to give, what is the main thing? Thickness of the stem. So thickness of the stem is increased. So when the thickness of the stem, the girth increases, we find many types of wood called porous and non-porous wood, spring and autumn wood, sap and heartwood. So you will be learning the difference between all these things. Now let's come to our topic again. So what is a secondary growth? In a very shorter word, we can say secondary growth is increase in the girth. Girth means circumference. Sutralavu. Increase in girth is called secondary growth or growth in girth. Okay, this secondary growth is brought about by latitudinal growth. It is also known as latitudinal growth, and it is brought about by lateral meristem. And this lateral meristem gives rise to vascular cambium and carp cambium. Now let's move further into our lesson. Let's take a dicot stem. Okay, we'll take the dicot stem. This is a dicot stem. Okay, this is a dicot stem, ground plant. Epidermis is there, followed by hypodermis, and this is the cortex region, then the endodermis, and these things are the vascular bundle. Okay, and in this the blue color is phloem, pink color is xylem. In between the phloem and xylem you got a orange color line. This line is called the cambium. Is it clear? Now, if the vascular bundle cambium is present inside the vascular bundle is called as intervascular cambium. And as the growth, as the increasing takes place, it starts to grow. எல்லாம் வளரும். வளரும்போது பக்கத்துல வருவாங்க. This cambium joins with this cambium. They will join. ரெண்டு கேம்பியமும் நடுவுல joint ஆகும், which is called the intravascular cambium. You can read it now over here. See, this is a cambial ring. You will find the phloem and the cambium here. That orange color is the cambium. Now inside each vascular bundle you got a cambium which is called fascicular cambium. Okay, that blue color, that yellow color, orange yellow is called fascicular cambium. Okay, in now as the growth increases, each cambium joins with each other. All the cambium join with each other. Here you have a cambium but not xylem and phloem. But this cambium is a continuation of the xylem and phloem. We call this as interfascicular cambium. Is it clear? So cambium present inside the vascular bundle is called fascicular cambium. இது ரெண்டுத்துக்கு நடுவுல இருந்து இடைவெளியில இருக்கிறதுக்கு பேரு interfascicular. Now the fascicular cambium and the interfascicular cambium, both of them join continuously to form a ring which we call it as the cambial ring. Which we call it as the cambial ring. இப்போ cambial ring எப்படி வந்துருச்சுன்னு தெரிஞ்சுதா? So to make a cambial ring you need a fascicular cambium and intrafascicular cambium. Is it clear? So this is cambium which is present. This is fascicular. இப்போ ஃபார்ம் ஆகி இந்த இடத்துல வருது intrafascicular. ரெண்டையும் சேர்த்து வருது is called the cambial ring. Okay, so that is called the cambial ring. Now let's turn to the types of cambium. What are the two types of cambium? You can see two types. One is stored stratified cambium, the other one is non-stored non-stratified cambium. Okay, so two types of cambium is there. One is stored and another one is not. Let's look into the stored. The stored has got two types of initials called ray initials and fusible initials. Let's look into what are they. See, the vascular cambium is of two kinds of initials, fusiform and ray. Let's look into what is fusiform. Fusiforms are longitudinal, okay, and they form the secondary xylem, maybe elementary xylary elements, fibers, axial parenchyma and phloem all. Based upon this, you have got the vascular cambium. See, this is an elongated, very much elongated one. But here you can see the length of the fusiform is increased and ray initials are lesser in number. But here you can find the ray initials are very much more.